So I wanted to make a video today about why you may want to consider not buying a liveaboard sailboat. And I've seen other videos like these, which are much better production quality than this one. I'm really just making this kind of as a journal for myself. But you know, if anybody finds value in these videos, that will be cool too. But I mean, I'm just shooting them on my phone, no script. I'm just doing these as the ideas come to me. So, but you know, unless you really want to be, you know, if you really want to live on the water and you really want to sail the boat, if that's really what you want to do, then buying a sailboat might be something that, you know, is something that you'd like to do. However, here's some things that you'll need to know about owning a sailboat, whether you live on it or not. And I would say that this is more about sailboats that are probably like over 27 feet. So like, you know, in the 30 foot and up. So this is a liveaboard sailboat, and this is a sailboat that, you know, I'm talking about sailboats that have a lot of extra things, as opposed to smaller, like, you know, sailboats like, you know, 25 feet and under, where they may not have so many amenities. So one thing about owning a sailboat is, on a sailboat, especially living on a sailboat, it's not like a house. Like when you have a house, you know, your water and your electricity and everything comes from SDG&E and comes from, you know, your local gas company, your local electric company, and your local water company. That's who gives you your stuff. So if your water or your electricity or your gas doesn't work one day, you know, it's going to be fixed really quickly, and it's going to be fixed by a government agency or some company. That, however, is not the case when you own a sailboat. On a sailboat, your water, your electricity, and your gas, you're responsible for all that. You have to make it work. You have to solve those problems and find those solutions. And if you buy a sailboat and the water stops working, the water pump stops working, or, you know, your gas, you run out of gas, or your gas appliances aren't working, or your electricity has an issue, it's on you to fix that. You can't call somebody. I mean, you can call somebody and pay for it, but that's the next thing we're going to get into. But it's on you to resolve the problem, whether you fix it yourself or whether, you know, you pay someone to fix it for you. And that's a perfect segue into the next thing about owning a sailboat is sailboat stuff is expensive. However, if you fix things yourself, you can get things done a lot cheaper. And, you know, I want to use this video as more of kind of the negatives of owning a sailboat, just not to be like, oh, don't do it, but just to keep a realistic perspective on owning a sailboat. But things for sailboats are expensive. Now, there is a way around that. Like in my situation, I work at Taco Bell, and I'm able to maintain my sailboat even though I work a minimum wage job. But the reason why I'm able to do that is because, you know, for example, you got to get creative. Like if you wanted to get like a bilge pump, or you needed like a water pump or water pressure, you could go to the marine stores that sell stuff for boats, and it would be very expensive. Or you can buy other things that do the same thing from other hardware stores, and they're a lot cheaper. Like for example, if I wanted to get a water pump, a water pressure pump for my boat, like the one that was in my boat already that I'm going to replace, that pump would probably be like near $400 or $500 probably to get the same one and to set it up the way it was set up before. However, I can just modify my tanks, and I can buy a water pump that does the same thing for $60. So if you're creative and you're smart, you can make it cheaper. And depending on your budget, if you're on a shoestring budget like me, you have no choice but to do that, and you have to be a little bit creative. But yeah, so things on the boat are generally going to be expensive. The third thing about owning a sailboat, and the reason why I chose to make this video now, is because not every place you're going is convenient. I've been rowing from before I started this video, and I feel like I'm going to end this video soon, and I'll be rowing after this video is over. And so, you know, you really got to love being out here. Now, I love being out here, and I'll do anything to stay out here. if my boat sank, I would buy another one. But, you know, if you're not sure about how, you know, if you're not sure that you want to live this lifestyle, the best idea would be to charter like a boat first. And there's a lot of people who've got their licenses and their licensed captains, and you know, they're on Craigslist and they'll take you out on their boat for like $175 per person or cheaper. And there's a lot of opportunities in the sailing world, so you can get your feet wet, no pun intended, and kind of decide if it's something that you actually want to do. For me, however, I knew I wanted to do this, so I jumped right in and I bought a sailboat, a way bigger sailboat than you're supposed to buy. And that's the next thing you can also do. If you really want to just get out there, but you want to try it first, buy a smaller sailboat. My friend who sold me this boat, he bought a small sailboat before he bought a big sailboat, just probably because of financial reasons, and also because it's a good way to learn how to sail is by having a small boat, so you can kind of really understand what's really going on. See, I have a big sailboat, and so I have to learn, every time I go sailing, I learn a lot of hard lessons, because I have such a big boat, and so there's not so much room for error. And so, you know, it would be better to start off with a small sailboat, because that way you can kind of figure out what's going on, maintenance is less, and maybe it's easier to resell it too. And also you can trailer it, so even if you didn't end up sailing it, you can stick it in your backyard and, you know, put that on your list of things that you have, your list of almost, you know, irrelevant assets that you have at home. But anyways, I just want to make that video, and I thought it was really a good point to do it, because if you're going to live aboard, if you don't have an outboard motor, like I have 2 outboard motors, but I really don't like them for 2 reasons. I think they're smelly, they're loud, it kills the vibe for me out here on the water. I don't get this workout, like I'm getting a work, see, you really got to want this. Like I actually enjoy the workout that I get from rowing every day. Like I'm getting an arm and back workout, and my traps, I'm like working out my whole upper body almost, just from rowing. So you got to really want to do it this way, because there's going to be anchorages, especially if you're not like me. I'm not at a marina, I'm anchored. So there's going to be anchorages where, you know, you're going to have to row 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I've gotten mine down, just when I first started doing this row, it would take me like 15 minutes to row back. Now I got it down to 10 minutes. I can get there and back in 10 minutes. Or I can get there in 10 minutes from the dinghy dock. But anyways, just some things to consider before buying a sailboat is it's expensive. And there's going to be a lot of maintenance. And all of your creature comforts at home, if you want to have those on your boat, remember, it's not a service on your boat, it's an appliance. And that means that it can break. So at your house, you have a fridge and you have an oven and you have a microwave, and if those things break, you got to go out and buy a new one. But out on the ocean in a sailboat, your water is an appliance, your gas is an appliance, your electricity is an appliance, and then also your microwave and all that other stuff is also appliances. So you're adding like 3 more appliances to the appliances that you would normally have to maintain. So yeah, just food for thought. Have a good day, guys.